Good morning, mathematicians. We're going to look at something just a little bit different today. And because it's a little different, I would like you to do the math work along with me in this video. So what you will need is either if you have this piece of paper printed out for math, these are page 28 and 29, or just a plain piece of paper would be just fine, because I'm going to read the problems and have you do some drawing and writing along with it. So if you need to pause while you go to get your paper and your pencil, you may do that. A few times during this video, I'll ask you to pause the video and to think, work, draw, and write, and then start the video again. Because I'm going to show you how I make a model of the problem, and then I'm going to read a problem and ask you to do it on your own. So we're going to do two together, then I'm going to be asking you to do it on your own. So this is something, there is a way to make a model of a story problem called a tape model. And this looks kind of complicated right here, but it's really not. And even though there's no tape, you could imagine that if you put a piece of like masking or colored tape on a table, that it would look like a rectangle like that. And you could make a short piece of tape and tape it to a table, or you could make a longer piece of tape and tape it to a table. And you could even compare the lengths of two pieces of tape to each other. So it's just one more way to do a model of our thinking. So this is called read, draw, write. And the draw part of this is going to be drawing a tape diagram. And other times we may have drawn pictures to represent what's happening in the story, but this time we're going to try this. And it's really just drawing rectangles. So for me to do my drawing, I'm going to be using a page that looks like this. And I kind of started the first one already, but I'll show you exactly how it goes. So your first thing we do is we always have to read the problem, right? We don't know what's going on if we don't read it. So we're going to read it, and then I'm going to show you how I draw a tape diagram. All right. Fran donated 11 of her old books to the library. Darnell donated 8 of his old books to the library. How many more books did Fran donate than Darnell? So if Fran donated 11 and Darnell donated 8 of his old books, we're going to have to think if you had a rectangle to represent the books for each of them, whose rectangle would be longer? It would be the one who donated more of their books, right? This does not represent it, so I'm going to show you here. So Fran donated 11 of her books. So I did this rectangle, and then I used my marker to draw this rectangle. And I put a little arc here with an 11 on top, because then I know that this long rectangle represents 11 books that Fran donated. So that's why I put the F next to it, because that's the part that tells me that these are Fran's books. So then I'm going to actually add that to my other little model here. I'm just doing the same model, but I'm kind of doing it twice just to show you, because I wasn't sure if my rectangle wasn't perfect, if it was still going to make sense. So, and you can draw it along too. So this is 11, and it represents Fran's 11 books. So we're going to read the next part again. There are lots of names in these stories, and they might be names that you can't pronounce or don't know. That's okay. Just make up a way to pronounce it in your mind. The name doesn't make any difference to the math. This one is Darnell. Darnell donated 8 of his old books to the library. How many more books did Fran donate than Darnell? So now, right next to it, we've got to have the same starting point. See how these are lined up here? When I draw the model that represents the 8 books that Darnell donated, I need to have the same starting point. I don't want to put this in the middle. So it would not help me very much if I put it like this. So we want to have the same starting point. So imagining that this is 0 to 11, and then this would be 0 to 8. Okay, so I'll pick my marker again. And, okay, so I'm going to write right inside this one that that's an 8 and that those are Darnell's 8 books. Okay, those are Darnell's 8 books. And now I'm going to compare that to Fran's 11 books. So I'm going to draw this line right here and go, wow, if I took Fran's 11 books and I just split it into parts, how we've done so many times when we did these little number bonds, Fran's 11 could be split into an 8 and another part. So what is the other part of 11? So I want you to solve that in your head. 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so the 8 that made up Darnell's plus the 3 extras would make up how many Fran donated to the library. So we can see right there that Fran donated 3 more books than Darnell. So we had 8, which was Darnell's, plus something that we solved, right? Equaled, or was equal to 11. So pretty much that was like Darnell's plus some gave us the same amount that Fran donated. And we already solved that the 2 parts of 11 would be an 8 and a 3. Okay, so we can solve there. So we would draw that here, and then we would write the number sentence. We'd write the equation here, and we'd write a sentence. It says, Fran donated 3 more books than Darnell. All right, I am going to clear that one. And I'm going to read the next one. And for this one, I'm going to show you how I do it again. And then the last 2, you're going to try on your own. So, during recess, it's not really going to be information that's going to make a big difference to the math, okay? During recess, 7 students were reading books. There were 17 students playing on the playground. How many fewer students were reading books than playing on the playground? So I'm going to model this part first, 7 students reading books, and I'm going to use an R to represent reading. 7 reading. So I'm going to pick up the marker again. Just going to find it there. Boop. Okay, I have it in my hand. And I'm going to do the 7. Any kind of bar that represents. So here are the 7 that are reading. And I'm going to put the R on this side now so it doesn't get in the way of my model. Okay, and I know that there were 7. There were 17 students playing on the playground. Remember, I need to line it up at a 0 starting point. Wow, so when I get to there, that's already 7. If I only go to here, that's not, in my imagination, going to get me all the way to 17. To me, that would be more like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay? Because the 17 is going to be a good amount longer. Okay, so these are the ones playing on the playground. So there were 7 here. And this arc here, whoops, sorry, it's a little wiggly because I ran out of space. This whole thing here was 17. Okay, so if this is 7, that means this part of the 17 is also 7, okay? So we're trying to figure out what is the difference. What is the difference right here? So we're looking at it again like this. There were 17 playing. What are the two parts of 17 when one part is 7? Well, we know that a 10 and a 7 gives us a 17. So that's going to give us this. So the question asks this. It says, there were 7 kids reading and 17 kids playing. How many fewer students were reading? How many fewer? So fewer means less. We know there were less kids that were reading, but how many less? Let's see if we could write a number sentence to go with that. So we could do, pick up my pen, 17. We wound up 17 minus some kids left us with 7. So 17 kids that were playing. And we compared it. We knew that there were some fewer playing, or reading, I'm sorry. There were some fewer that were reading. And we knew that there were 7. So we could do it like this. 17 minus something gave us 17, and we figured out that that was 10. So that is one way to do the number sentence. And then the way we would write it on the line would be there were 10 fewer students reading. There were 10 fewer students who were reading. And you can pause for as long as you need to look at this. The other way I could write this number sentence could be like this. I could take 7 students who were reading plus some more equaled the number of students who were playing. And I have another way I could do it. 17 students who were playing minus 7 kids who were reading equaled some students, which we solved was 10 in each one of these number sentences. So you can pause if you need to look at that longer, but I am going to erase it. So pause now because if you need to, because I am hitting start over. All right, this next one I'm going to read to you, and I really want you to try it on your own. You are going to give it a shot before you look at how I solve it. Maria is 18 years old. M for Maria. Her brother Nikhil is 12 years old. How much older is Maria than her brother? So Maria is 18. Her brother Nikhil is 12. We are comparing these two numbers to see which one is greater and how much greater is it. So pause, work on it on your own. Please draw it and write a number sentence to go with it. So pause now. Okay, now that you're back and you did the work on your own, I'm going to show you how I created a model for this one. And it was this. Okay. Maria is 18. That's for Maria. And Nikhil, starting at the same spot, is 12. So I need to go further than that. 12 is more than half of 18, so I'm going to put it there. He's 12. Okay, so that means this part of the 18 is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And this part would be 6. So it says, how much older is Maria than Nikhil? So 12, he's 12 plus some years will get him to the same age as Maria. Okay? And we solved here that it was 6. Another way you could, hi Ellen, another way you could do it would be 18, so Maria's age, minus, or Nikhil's age, could give you 6. In your mind, you might be doing subtraction to solve it, but we solved it through adding on. We solved it by starting at 12 and adding 6 more to get us to 18. Okay, pause now if you need to see that. I am clearing it now and I'm going to read the next one. Next one I also want you to do on your own. It rained 15 days in the month of March. It rained 19 days in April. How many more days did it rain in April than March? Okay, pause there. When you unpause, you will see me doing the work and how I created the tape diagram model. It rained 15 days in the month of March. It rained 19 days in the month of April. Okay. I'm going to do my longer one on top again. Doesn't matter which one you use for the longer one, as long as they start at the same spot. Okay, I think it was 19, right? Yeah, 19 days in April. And in March, it rained 15 days, which is almost at the end of the 19. So this is 15. So that means I'm going to break up this 19 into a 15 and 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. All right. So what we did there is we did 15 days of May plus some more days. Gave us the same number of days that it rained in April. Okay, so we wound up with a 4 here. So that could be your number sentence, and your statement could sound something like, it rained 4 more days in April than it did in March. All right, go ahead, and we did all the work together. There's no more for you to do on your own. Good job. You can pause this and look back at it as long as you need. Nice work.